for Chilliwack, Kent.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to my colleague for bringing forward this motion. Be it resolved that this House condemn violence and intimidation of artists and performers in the drag community. Honourable Speaker, I wasn't going to stand to speak to this motion today. I'm grateful for the privilege to be able to do so, but my main concern was twofold. One was to be able to do it in a way that truly honored people of my community and the people who do call me ally. And the second was to do it in a way that didn't lead with anger. Because, Honourable Speaker, I must confess that is the predominant feeling here. Anger born out of protection, an instinct to protect, anger born out of the harm that I've heard directly from my community, from members of the 2S LGBTQ community, from drag performers, from youth in my community. And so I'm very honored to stand here and just talk about a few things that some of my colleagues may not have canvassed yet, because I do really value their words. And I do want to say, the member for West Vancouver Capilano, I love the joy they brought to their conversation there, so thank you for that. I think that one of the things that might be confusing is when we hear the anger, the vitriol, the yelling, the noise that would attack or intimidate drag performers in our community, it's often because it's being equated with transgenderism, which there's no inherent connection there. That being said, we do know, as other members have mentioned, that the transgender community receives a very specific kind of attack, and that has been now shared with drag performers. The tools of shame and hurt in order to control and to censor are not new ones, although we have seen a fairly recent resurgence and rise in the violence, and be that verbal or physical, and the societal attacks on drag performers. I know in Chilliwack, Kent, in February there was an event. It was a student-led event. It was fantastic that they organized it. It's called Glow Up. It was a dance and creative showcase, and one of the things that the students did was that they did invite a drag performer. I think they were emceeing and performing. Their name is Haley Adler, and they're fantastic. They do a lot for our community and in our community to raise money and really make sure that we have opportunities for inclusive events. And the backlash that came out of that was what spurred this conversation on. It was equating it not only to transgenderism, but mis-equating that to predation and grooming and sexualization. And I think, Honourable Speaker, that's one of the areas where the anger comes from. I had the opportunity to speak with Haley and just thank them, because I knew that it was going to be hard in our community. And even they said this is kind of new again. It's disappointing when we see it. And so I absolutely support the motion today, and I know that an additional reason that I do that is because the member from Peace River South talked about anti-bullying and the actions that have been brought into schools, and all I can think is, are the voices who are doing this, who are being disgusting, saying disgusting things about other human beings, misequating and attributing behavior and actions in a way meant to induce shame, which we know is an excellent mechanism for control. Did they graduate before that? Because that would make them not relevant in the schools today. So maybe, I hope that we're not seeing it in the school today. But Honourable Speaker, part of the reason I ran originally as well was because I was sick of explaining to the kids what the grown-ups were doing, and I am so happy that those in this room have stood and supported. I would encourage people not only to speak out against violence generally, but specifically where it's targeting other human beings based on, first of all, a protected area, and second of all, an artistic expression that is very valuable in our society. And I just want to remind drag performers out there that thank you, and Bob Dylan, Madonna, and even the Beatles in 1964 on the grounds that the group
Thank you, member.
negatively influenced have been banned. So just keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.